Yes. So, Sri Akal students. So, let's discuss Carnot cycle or related Carnot theorem. Obviously, understanding these two, we understand what is Carnot heat engine, right? Uh, then related to that, we also want to study what's its relevance and what is the formula for the Carnot efficiency, Carnot heat engines efficiency. Well, the first and foremost thing I think in thermodynamics is what is the relevance of Carnot cycle? Very strange thing. Most of the books and most of the teachers across the world, what they follow, they'll teach second law of thermodynamics first, then Carnot cycle. Ignorance. I would say it was Nicolas Sadi Carnot, a French physicist, a guy, smart guy who had deep understanding of thermodynamics, who had understanding of reversible processes, and he was probably the first person who postulated, thought of a heat engine, and was able to theoretically invent a cycle, you know, giving possible maximum efficiency for a heat engine. Very important, operating between two temperatures. What did I say? Operating between two temperatures, we can say T1 and T2. You see, students, if you actually talk of a automobile, whether you talk about a car or motorcycle, whatever it is, there's a engine inside the automobile. That engine has piston and cylinder that can be thought of as hot reservoir at temperature T1, and the silencer of the heat engine, you know, never try to touch it, it's very hot. Exhaust gases, all the pollution, NOx, SOx, everything, soot formation. But then, youngsters have all the craze for automobiles and the speedy bikes and everything. So this exhaust gases going to another reservoir at temperature T2, and we say T1 is greater than T2. Well, Carnot, at the time when Sadi Carnot postulated this cycle and talked about the efficiency, talk, uh, give us the tool for today's mechanical engineers. How can we calculate the thermal efficiency of our automobiles? How can we calculate how much crude oil, how much petrol or aircraft fuel or diesel we have given to our bike, and how we can calculate the thermal efficiency of our automobile? Thermal efficiency means, or the efficiency of automobile is what we are getting, the work done, how much that bike is running, how much distance, how fast that bike is carrying us, the passengers, maybe a train, and what is the input, what is the money spent on the fuel, right? So it is because of this great physicist that today we are able to calculate the thermal efficiency of our automobiles. Why do we calculate thermal efficiency, and what's so great about it? Because unless we know the thermal efficiency, we cannot think of improving the present technology so that efficiency increases. When thermal efficiency increases, or simply you can say efficiency of our heat engines, when they increase, what does that mean? We get more mileage, less pollution, and all those related things, all the advantages. Why? Because we know that our fuel, they are not going to exhaust for more than some number of years, so our generations can also use the automobiles. And that's why the concept of improvement of efficiency is very important. So it was Carnot students who first talked about this, who first thought about this. So let's discuss what is this Carnot theorem, Carnot cycle, Carnot, Carnot heat engine. So first and foremost thing, students, we need to understand what are reversible and irreversible processes. I think this guy had real good understanding of this. Well, we have all this friction. Lot of work is wasted, lot of heat is wasted because of friction. And then we got about your this coefficient of viscosity or the viscosity, and that's also another type of friction between the fluid layers, right? So a lot of waste is there. So because of these, you see, we can never think of 100% efficiency. Is it right? We can never think of 100% efficiency. Why? Because these are the dissipative factors which reduces our effort, right? So because of this, there is irreversibility. Irreversibility. What does that mean? It means simply, you're here and you're walking till here, and then you're walking back, right? Now everything, if this is a system, everything associated with you and your surrounding, when you walk from here to here, there are changes in your heartbeat, in your temperature, in the heat released to atmosphere. When you walk back, from this point to this point, your initial conditions and final conditions exactly should match. If they match, then the process is reversible. And actually speaking, I don't think so there's any 100% reversible process in this world because of the dissipative factors, the waste, the losses, you can say, you know so all the processes are irreversible actually, but then Carnot wanted to give a cycle, or he wanted to create a cycle as a benchmark to all the cycles of our present automobiles. So he wanted obviously to give maximum efficiency for this Carnot cycle. And even till date today, technology has advanced so much, but still even today, if we want to create a bike, if we want to produce a bike, we again compare the efficiency of that bike with Carnot heat engine only, because Carnot heat engine gives us the maximum efficiency of a Carnot heat engine operating between two temperatures T1 and T2. What is T1? T1 is basically, actually speaking, if you want to understand in today's technology, T1 is a temperature of your fuel air mixture after detonation as a result of spark plug, or in diesel engines as a result of extreme compression. So the fuel air mixture automatically catches fire, right? And your T2 is your exhaust temperature, which is less than T1. So T1, T2 are basically, what is that? What Carnot thought is basically, T1 is the temperature of hot reservoir from where we would want to take out heat. How much? Q1. Supply that heat to our cyclic Carnot heat engine. This is Carnot heat engine. I put these arrows to show that they are cyclic. And then uh, Sadi Carnot became famous, and he was really logical because he talked about this thing. This is very, very important. People previous to Carnot were actually trying to convert all the available heat into work done, and that was a big mistake. So that means we have already proven that first law of thermodynamics has some, some flaws. Right word, it's not wrong. So we people always wanted some other law which would cover up those flaws. So that flaw was well taken care of by this. Carnot postulated, he thought, that when Q1 heat is taken from a reservoir, well, reservoir is infinite source of energy. So if its temperature is T1, no matter how much heat you take from the reservoir, its temperature is not going to go down. Very good. And here also you have cold reservoir. So here also, let's say cold reservoir is at T2. So the temperature is not going to increase no matter how much, heat you give it to this. In other words, we also say this is heat sink and this is heat source. In case of heat engine, these are the terms. We say this is source and this is sink. All right. So guys, what I told you is that this is what Carnot thought. that there's a reservoir at temperature T1. Q1 is taken from T1 to do the work. Q2 is dissipated to the cold reservoir at temperature T2. And this part was really very, very important, which actually paved way for very important law of thermodynamics. That was second law of thermodynamics. It is always better to understand and enjoy the Carnot cycle and corresponding theoretical Carnot heat engine before going for second law of thermodynamics, because second law of thermodynamics did not give Carnot theorem. Rather, it was a vice versa. It was the opposite. That Carnot theorem paved the way for energy loss. That if you take some energy from the nature, you have to waste some energy if you are really interested in getting some work done out of it. Beautiful. That was well taken care of in this. And now, because Q1 is taken and Q2 is wasted to the atmosphere, it is possible, Carnot postulated, that you can get some work out of a theoretical heat engine which is working in a cycle. Is it right? All right. So, guys, now he also thought that all the processes are reversible. All the processes are reversible, because only when we assume that the processes are reversible, then the losses are not there and the efficiency will be maximum. All right. Now, what is the first process? You see, this process, heat is taken from the reservoir. How can I represent on PV? Not me. How Carnot represented this on PV diagram? So, guys, here the knowledge of isotherms and adiabatics is important to you. Well, isotherms, we know that this is an infinite source of energy. The heat is taken at constant temperature. So this is the way I draw isotherms on my PV diagram. All right. So this is the isotherms, and you could talk about this is the second isotherm. Second isotherm. These are two isotherms. Okay. Now I'm going to talk about once again. This is my second isotherm. Okay. So I'm going to talk about first process. The first process is, the system was at one, state of the system was at one. From one, the system went to state two, isothermally. Isothermally, it went. There was heat addition in the system. Q1 heat was added to the system. Now see that temperature at T1 and temperature at T2 are same. It's isothermal process. All right. Q1 heat is added to the system. Now, you know, why he thought about isothermal process? Indirectly, you can think about a lot of things, but indirectly to give maximum efficiency. All right. Theoretical efficiency. Then from 2 to 3, now we want system to do the work. No, 2 to 3. Now, how can we do the work? Why? How did Carnot thought about the second process? You see, it's like what's happening inside the Carnot engine, heat engine. This is the cylinder, and this is the piston. So first, heat is given. Heat is given. Q1 is given isothermally. When the heat is given, you know, in actual engine, heat is not given, and the fuel air mixture is sucked in. Then spark plug in petrol engines creates the spark, and then heat is produced. So in a way, we say we have given the heat to the piston cylinder, but actually heat is not given. The air fuel mixture is given. Indirectly, you can say heat is given. Okay, heat is given. Then because heat is given, hot gases are there, the system expands because there are so much pressure applicable on the system. It expands. When it expands, it does the work. So system is doing work. The work done is positive. System expansion. So he thought about adiabatic expansion. Why adiabatic? He wanted to preserve the heat. He wanted to preserve the heat. He didn't want possibly that any heat loss should be there from the walls of the piston to the surroundings. So possibly that's reason he thought about a adiabatic expansion, right, students? So this is your adiabatic expansion. The adiabatic processes on PV diagrams are like this. All right. So this is one adiabatic expansion, 2 to 3. And here the work is done. Here work is done. W out. The system is doing work. The system is doing work. All right. So then heat is taken from the reservoir at constant temperature. And students, now what is actually happening? The gas has done the work. The piston from here, it moves to here. Already the work is done. Our wheels move forward. Now after the work is done, there are after the chemical reactions happen, there are so much noxes and soxes, like a lot of these toxic gases which have to be flushed out of piston cylinder, right? So there q1 is added, q out is you know q out is done, and now some heat has to be rejected to the sink, to the atmosphere. And Carnot thought that is also rejected isothermally. Why? Because this is also reservoir, and in this reservoir, cold reservoir, no matter how much amount of heat you are giving, the temperature remains constant. How much is the temperature? T2, right? Okay, so why the temperature drops? Why the temperature drops? Here at point V1, what are the thermodynamic variables of system? P1, V1 and T1. Well, what are the thermodynamic variables Dakshina was saying at T2? P2, V2, not, it's not T2. It's T1. Why? Because it's isothermal heat addition. So the temperature remains same. Beautiful. Now here, can you tell what are the thermodynamics variables? P3, pressure further comes down, then V3, and then so it's not T1. Now the system has done the work. So whatever was the internal energy of the system, it has gone down because it has done some work. So temperatures had dropped to, here we will take T2. Yes. Speak properly.
अगर रिजर्वायर से हम हीट ले लें तो हीट सेम ही रहती है।
हाँ, रिजर्वायर से हमने हीट लिया, Q1 हीट हमने रिजर्वायर से ले लिया, Q1 हीट लेने के बाद उसने W वर्क डन किया। सो जो हीट उसने लिया उसका हीट कंटेंट कम हो गया ना सिस्टम में. It has done the work. You consume some food, you have a lot of energy, right? After you do the work, your energy level goes down, right? So temperature drops from T1 to T2. T2 is less than T1. Got it? Very good. So now the temperature has dropped, and then this heat rejection. Here I've already drawn the arrow. I'm sorry. This Q2 is also isothermal. That means 3 to 4 process is again isothermal, and that's why this line and this lines are identical. And then students, after that, this is my fourth state. 4 to 1, this is isothermal heat rejection from 3 to 4, and 4 to 1 is again adiabatic compression. And compression, you are compressing a gas. The gas cannot compress itself. That means gas cannot do positive work at the same time compress itself. It's not possible in thermodynamics. So who's doing work? External work. Beautiful. And if it is external work, that means work is supplied to the engine. If a naive person wants to understand, you give a kick to your scooter to start it, right? You put the battery button, you know the self starts, and your engine starts. That is the work done you are doing on your bike. That is W in, and that is negative work done. Soon we will find the expressions for this work done also. So this work done is given to the system W in, and that is negative. And here, this is negative, this is positive work done. All right. So guys, quickly, here it's now we're going to talk about the efficiency of this Carnot heat engine. For that, we need to understand, what are the expressions for work done and heat transfer. We need to actually, what do you say, apply the, whatever knowledge we have, to all the processes here. So let's say we do that. Give me 1 second. Okay, so let's start. So what is, first we talk about 1 to 2 process. Which is this process? Isothermal isothermal heat supply. We are supplying heat to the system isothermally, right? So in isothermal heat addition, the du would be 0, right? Du would be 0, and the Q1 heat supplied, Q1 heat supplied, or you can say Q1 to 2 would be equal to the work done. You can say W1. Actually, this is W1 to 2. Am I right? W1 to 2. So this would be equal to, tell me fast, N number of volts, N R T, temperature in 1 to 2 process is T1 into nRT, yes. Then we will write ln natural log. It's like exponential log. I'm sorry. Ln final volume minus initial volume, that is V2 by V1, and this is, you know, again, we say this is positive work done. Okay. Then the process is 2 to 3. What is this process, Dakshinur? 2 to 3 is adiabatic
process.
expansion. The volume has increased from V2. This volume is V2. See, this volume is V2 and this volume is V3. V3 is more than V2. So 2 to 3 is adiabatic expansion. So work done in adiabatic expansion, W out. W out would be, can you tell me, students? W out is basically P2 V2. Whenever you want to find out the work done in an adiabatic process, put the variable thermodynamic variables of initial, and then subtract the final thermodynamic variables P3 V3. The work done will be positive. Remember that in adiabatic process, initial minus final, P2 V2 minus P3 V3 divided by, tell me, gamma minus 1. Well, this is equal to, can you tell? This is equal to NR perfectly. Yeah. So this P with P2 V2 minus P3 in related to this, the temperature is T1. So it will be T1 minus T2. Beautiful. Correct. At point 3, the temperature is T2. Temperature has fallen from T1 to T2. Okay. And T1 minus T2 divided by gamma minus 1. Beautiful. Now the process is 3 to 4. Yes. Can you tell Dakshina Hussain? What is this process 3 to 4? Isothermal heat rejection. Rejection. First, isothermally we added the heat, and here isothermally the heat is rejected to the atmosphere. Like, this is the most important subject which compelled the people to think about the fact that if you want to have some work done from a heat engine, you need to reject some heat to the the atmosphere sink. Beautiful. So in 3 to 4, isothermal heat rejection. So I could say again the Q2, would be equal to, you can say, Q2. So what will be the work done here? W3 to 4. So students here, W3 to 4 is, NR. The temperature is now T2. Beautiful. T2 ln final minus initial. V4. Beautiful. This is fourth point. V4 minus V3. And V4 is less than V3. Automatically, this expression becomes negative. That is a beautiful mixing of maths and thermodynamics. Maths is supporting the concept of thermodynamics, because ln V3 by V4 by V3 value will be negative. So this, heat rejection, heat going out of system is also, we know, is negative in thermodynamics. Work done is also negative because this is compression. Gas cannot compress itself. Gas does the work, it will only expand the piston. Am I right? Beautiful. So we have got this also, and then the process, final process 4 to 1. And what is the 4 to 1 process? Can anyone tell? See, 1 to 2 and 3 to 4 processes are isothermal. Very good. 2 to 3 and 4 to 1 processes are adiabatic. Very right. So here the work is given to the system, W in, and this will be again negative work, right? So can you tell students W, 4 to 1, you know, what will be W 4 to 1? Come on, students. So this will be, this is adiabatic, so it would be, you can say this is like P4 V4 minus P1 V1 divided by gamma minus 1, or you can say this is equal to NR. Come on guys.
T2 minus
Nine.
T
Nine. Always go for the temperature here, then temperature here. It will be easy. It will be easy. Always see that T1 minus T2 we have taken 2 to 3 in temperature at this point, then temperature at this point. Always remember. Otherwise you have to write 1 minus gamma on the bottom. You got it? So NR, tell the variables of this. NR here temperature is
T2
T2, correct. Why? Because T2 is not changing in this process. In this process, his isothermal heat rejection temperature is not
constant.
changing. Temperature is constant. So it will be nR T2 minus T1 divided by gamma minus 1. Am I right, students? All right, this is beautiful. So these are the four expressions of the work done in various processes. Students, we want to find out the net work done. But why? Because we want to calculate the efficiency of the Carnot heat engine. That is the maximum possible efficiency. Whenever we talk about efficiency of something, it is always output by input. Is it right, Dakshinur Singh? So what is the output? Whatever work you are getting. What do you expect from a heat engine? You expect work done. What is the work done? You will see the net work done. Just add all the work done. Just add all the work done. Add everything and then W net. You can say W net divided by what is the input?
Q
Q1. Beautiful. The input is, yes, students, input is Q1. This is the input. And what is the output? W is the output. See, if you just look at this cycle, you can just derive very easily that here the efficiency would be W divided by the heat you have supplied. Am I right? Is it right? So, but then that we will get from here also, W net by Q1. So let's go further. Uh, Now we have done this. So just see, students. Uh, give me a second. Okay. So if you just see, now if you want to find out the W net, so it will be just add all these. We know V4 by V3 would be negative, and we know this is one second. 3 to 4 would be negative, correct, and this 4 to 1 is also negative, very right. So we just add all this. So what happens? It happens, tell me, it would be nRT1 ln V2 by V1, am I right? Plus nr, come on, speak, T1 minus T2 divided by gamma minus 1. All right, plus, come on, nr T2 ln V4 by V3 plus nr T2 minus T1 divided by gamma minus 1. See the beautiful thing, students. Here, if you just see these expressions, this expression is T1 minus T2. This expression is T2 minus T1. So they would cancel with each other. Beautiful. Or you can also say that here, these are opposite to each other.
Yes.
Is it right? So 2 to 3 and here, So they will cancel. When they will cancel, what you get exactly is N R T1 and RT1 ln V2 by V1 plus NR T2 V4 by
V3.
V3. This is our What
Work done.
students? This is
Network
our
done.
network done. All right. This is our network done. Okay, we have done this. And now we will find out the efficiency of Carnot heat engine. Okay, all the processes are reversible. There is no frictional friction. There is no dissipative
Viscosity.
forces, viscosity. The working fluid is ideal. Everything is the best we are imagining. So, what is the efficiency of Carnot heat engine? You just see, students. So this will be nRT1 ln V2 by V1 plus nRT2 V4 by V. So students, you see nRT1 ln V2 by V1 is Q1, the heat supplied. nRT2 V4 by V3 is Q2, the heat rejected. So we can say that efficiency of Carnot heat engine is equal to, you know, here it is Q1. Right now, if you see, students, that this is V4 by V3, is it right?
Yes.
V4 by V3 would be negative. It will be V4 by V3 would be
Negative.
negative, right? So we can always say that here W is Q1 minus Q2, right? The same thing we're getting here. Here Q1 minus Q2 divided by input. What is input? Where you have spent the money?
A Q1.
Q1. All right. So efficiency of Carnot heat cycle is equal to 1 minus Q2 by Q1. So this is equal to 1 minus what? NR what? Come on, students. NR T2
2.
into, tell me,
ln ln of V4 by V3.
ln
V4 4 upon
V4 by
V3
V3 divided by
NRT
nRT1
and
ln.
V2 minus 2 upon V1 V2 upon V1.
Is it right? Is it V2 by V1? Just see. So this is V2 by V1. Perfectly right. V2 by V1. Is it right, guys? Beautiful. And students, here you now we know that in 1 to 2 process, it was isothermal heat addition.
Yes.
Remember, 1 to 2 process is isothermal heat
Addition.
addition. All right. So, what are the law which will be prevalent?
PV is equals to
P1 V1 would be equal to P2
V2.
V2. Very right. In 2 to 3, 1 to 2, 2 to 3 is adiabatic,
Expansion.
adiabatic expansion. Beautiful. So, what is the law prevalent there?
P1 V1
Here,
raised to power
so
gamma.
here would be PV raised to power gamma is equal to constant. So we can say P2 V2 raised to power gamma is equal to P3 V3 raised to power
Gamma.
gamma. Beautiful. P2 V2 raised to power gamma is equal to P3 V3 raised to power gamma. What about 3 to 4 process?
Ice.
Is isothermal
Re-
heat
Rejection.
Rejection.
rejection to the sink. Beautiful. So what will be the law prevailing there?
P1
P3 V3 would be equal to
P4
P4
V4
V4 in 4 to 1 processes. Adiabatic
Compression.
compression.
compression from P4 V4 to P1
P1 V1
V1. Beautiful, beautiful. Or you can say temperature T2 to T1. Very right. So it will be what?
P4
P4
V4
V4 raised to power gamma
gamma
is
is equals
equal
to
to
P1 raised
P1 V1 raised to power.
gamma.
Beautiful. That's great. What do you do, students? This is your first equation. Second, third, fourth. Multiply all. Multiply all equations. What do you get? Here
P
you get, students, 1 second. Here you get, 1 second, let me change the color. Here you get what? Please come on, help me. You
we
will
have to do that.
get
P2 V2 gamma raised to power gamma minus 1 into P4 V4 raised to power gamma minus 1 is equals to P P3 V3 raised to power gamma minus 1 into P1 V1 raised to power gamma minus 1.
Correct, correct, correct. Very right, very right. You
क्योंकि वो
have
सारा डिवाइड हो जाएगा ना
you have given very right justification. It will be P1 V1 into P2 V2 raised to power gamma. Is it right?
Hmm.
Into P3 V. This is how we multiply equations into. Keep speaking, Gurjot Singh.
P4
P4
V4
V4 raised to power gamma is equal to
P2
P2
V2
V2
into P3
P3
V3 raised to power
V3 raised to
gamma
power gamma into
P4 V4
P4
into
V4 into P1 V1 raised to power
gamma.
gamma. Is it right? Now, see, do one thing. Here you have V2 raised to power P1, P2, P3, P4 will cancel. Is it right? One, one, two, three, four. Is it right? They cancel. What do you get? Here you get V2 gamma. See V2. Here also V2 is there. Bring V2 on this side. It will become gamma minus 1.
मैंने P cancel
कोई बात नहीं. It's okay. Don't worry. Don't worry. Speak. Keep speaking. It's a recording going on. Keep speaking. V2 is gamma minus 1. Is it right? Because this is V2 raised to power gamma divided by V2. That's gamma minus 1. Into, can you tell? Here also gamma. Catch hold of this. V4 raised to power gamma minus 1 is equal to, here,
V3 raised to power gamma minus
very
1.
good, very good. V3 raised to power gamma minus 1 into
V1 raised to
V1 raised to power gamma minus 1. Very good. So students, what does this give you? Their powers are same. It's like x raised to power, you can say a into y raised to power a is equal to z raised to power a into l raised to power a. So what does that mean?
x plus x
What
plus
does that mean?
XY is equal
XY is equal to ZL. Beautiful, beautiful. XY is equal to ZL. So we can say what? V2, V4 is equal to
V3
V3, V1. See, please concentrate here. What you wanted to get here to give a very easy expression of efficiency of Carnot heat cycle. See, R will cancel with R, N will cancel with N. T2 by T1 will remain. Here it is V4 by V3. And here it is. Correct. So from here, beautiful. What we are getting? V4, this one, V3, bring it here. V4 by V3 is equal to
V2 by V1.
No,
V1
you're
by
wrong. V1 by
V2.
V2. All right. V3 by V4 is equal to V2 by V1. Oh, I'm sorry. I think I've done some mistake. V4 by V3 is equal to
V1 by V2.
V1 by V2. Is it right? V1 by V2. Okay. Tell me, students, where I have done the mistake.
हम इसको नोट कर दें
किसको?
is equal to the दोनों same.
No inversion. We have done a small mistake here. Can you tell what is the mistake? No. There is a mistake here. See, students, see here. Here we have taken plus sign. Am I right? We have taken plus sign. We missed one step here. This is equal to nRT1. Come on, tell me. ln V2 by
V1
V2 by V1. Yeah.
Plus V4 upon
Correct. V4 by
V3.
V3. But we wanted to have negative sign here. We have already introduced negative sign, but we forgot to introduce negative sign here. How we can introduce negative sign? By reversing V4 by V3. Beautiful. So it will be minus nRT2. Tell me. V3 by V4. Beautiful. When we do this, you have already proven what? You have already proven that here it is. It will be, tell me. So we have already done V4 by V3 is equal to V1 by V2. Am I right?
Yeah.
Tell me. Okay. So from this, I will get efficiency of Carnot heat engine is equal to 1 minus V4 by V3. We have already proven is equal to V2 by V1. V2 by V1. Because here it is. Here we wanted to prove V4 by V3 is equal to V2 by V1. Am I right? And here already we've got this. It's just C. See, V2 by Vn, negative sign already we have introduced. So just practice it, where we will get these are equal. You will get 1 minus T2 by T1. This is the efficiency of the Carnot heat engine. Got it? Got it, Gurjot?
Yes.
So efficiency of Carnot heat engine is 1 minus T2 by T1. Now the here from this a very important observation we drew. What if T2 is equal to 0, then efficiency of Carnot heat engine would be 100%. T2 is equal to 0 means there is no sink. There is no sink. And since efficiency of a heat engine can never be 100%, can never be 100%, we have rejected the heat. So T2 cannot be 0. T2 cannot be 0. There is some heat rejection. This has indicated to the future physicist or future people who are studying thermodynamics, teachers as well as students, that if you want to have a positive work from a Carnot cycle, Carnot cycle is theoretical cycle. All the processes we have assumed as reversible, but when you talk about actual automobile, all the processes will not be reversible, right? So efficiency would automatically be less than Carnot theoretical. But one thing Carnot has proven, that efficiency cannot be 100%. When we studied the first law of thermodynamics, first law of thermodynamics was okay with 100% efficiency concept. Why? Carnot theorem, Carnot cycle took the basic seat of heart in thermodynamics, because it told that the maximum efficiency a Carnot heat engine can have, maximum possible efficiency a Carnot heat engine can have is 1 minus T2 by T1. What does that mean? Let us say, huh? 100%, हाँ बिल्कुल बिल्कुल सही है. अगर अपन इस फ्रैक्शन को T2 by T1 को 1 से माइनस कर दें, एफिशिएंसी 100% नहीं होगा. यू परफेक्टली राइट गुरजोत सिंह. एंड now a very important thing comes. What is that? Let us say there is a theoretical Carnot cycle. It is operating between, let's say, the temperature, source temperature is, let's say, let's say it is 300 degrees centigrade. Okay, the sink temperature is normal atmospheric temperature. Normal atmosphere is a sink, and that is, let's say we talk about Punjab, that is 40 degrees centigrade. Now can you calculate its Carnot efficiency? Yes guys, its Carnot efficiency will be 1 minus, this is my T2 and this is my T1, so it will be
40 upon 3.
It will be 100% wrong. Never take temperature in degree centigrade. If you calculate 1 minus 40 by 300, it will be a wrong answer. You do 40 plus 273 divided by 300 plus 273, that is 573. Remember here, 273 is not getting cancelled. It's not subtraction addition. So this is equal to, whatever it is, it's like something like maybe 310 approximately. Let's say this is, imagine this is 600, imagine. So this is 0.5, so it is 50% efficiency. Right now, when they design an engine, they know this is a piston and cylinder of a engine, and here T1 will be approximately this much. Remember that. Understand that T1, they know would be, if it is diesel engine, it will be a little more. If it is petrol engine, it will be this. And atmosphere is T2. So when they want to compare the efficiency of their engine, they will always compare with Carnot efficiency. How? Carnot efficiency will be simply 1 minus T2 by T1. So that efficiency will come to be, let's say, 70% or 72%. Right? So when actually they calculate the efficiency, and they want to compare with Carnot efficiency, then they will understand how much betterment they have done to that engine. So Carnot heat engine is a kind of benchmark, is a kind of, you can say, it's a maximum possible theoretical efficiency which any heat engine can achieve. But important thing is working between T1 and T2. It will be, this question will not have any relevance. What is the efficiency of your heat engine? You have to specify what are the temperature range it is working in between. Is it right? Thank you very much, students. Hope you got something. Anything you didn't understand, write in the comments. Goodbye.